So in today's video, I'm going to break down the 5 stages of market sophistication from the book Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Now, if you don't already know it, it's essentially a framework or model that Eugene Schwartz has created to help you identify where your prospect is at, not just in the awareness level, but in where like the competition level is. And that'll help you determine how to write your hooks, your messaging, as well as just your ad copy in general and your creatives, which are very, very vital. So I highly recommend you read this. This is the exact same style I actually use to run 4 brands and help them grow in content and advertising. And we've done well over 100,000 in sales. So I I know this market. I know how to take products to market, and so I hope I can help you guys if you're at that stage of figuring out, okay, I'm just getting my product off the ground. I really don't know where my prospects are, or like I understand like where I want to target or who, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to write the messaging. This is going to help a lot. Okay, so stay tuned and let's jump right into it now. So, what is the 5 stages of market sophistication? Well, stage one is going to be unaware of the promise. And this is essentially where the market has never really been promised the result before. People may want the outcome, but no one has explicitly claimed it's achievable in a direct way. Basically, it means that no one else is in the competition. Like, no one's in the market. There's really not a lot going on. There's no real people or anyone that has stated something that they can achieve. And for example, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. That is something that a stage one sophistication could use, because you're just stating the promise. You're not stating anything except, well, frankly, the result, or anyone, because they've never seen it before. So that's pretty much how simple it is. And why this works is like simple claims, bold claims, outcome driven claims, all these are directly correlated with what the actual person wants. It's just literally giving them what they want. That's why it's like unaware, because they've never seen it before. And so this is the first time they're actually seeing this. So you never really have to go into, which is stage two, aware of the promise. So the market has heard the promise, but it is still believable. There's few competitors exist, and just the skepticism is low. So basically, it just means that there's a little bit of competition, but at this point, there's not really a whole lot where it would cause any issues. However, because it's a stage two, and if you want to start standing out, what you will do is do this: lose 30 pounds in 30 days with the carb cycling method. By the way, I'm using examples from fitness because it's like the easiest thing. And well, in Breakthrough Advertising, when you read it, I would say when you read it, because it's a great book to read. He talks about a lot about fat burning, like health stuff. So I might as well just use them. So anyway, this is an example: just lose 30 pounds in 30 days with the carb cycling method. I just came up with this, but it's essentially just a simple tweak on the original where you're adding a specific type of way of doing the thing. So like the market has heard the promise, it's still believable, just the skepticism low, but they've heard it before. They've heard the lose 30 pounds in 30 days. So to be able to stand out, to be able superior, to become superior, and actually that's a big thing about that, is like, how can you be superior to all the other competition? Because while there is still a little bit of competition, by standing out in your own unique way with the carb cycling method, you can achieve it by just improving on the original claim. Okay. The next part is just what works is like the same promise, now supported by a mechanism or explanation. So you're just giving them an option on like, this will work, like lose 30 pounds in 30 days with this specific method, instead of just pointing out like, well, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. No one really understands that. And so frankly, they'd be like, well, okay, but if they've never heard of that before, then they would be actually pretty open to that. If it was like lose 100 pounds in 30 days, probably no one else has done that claim before, so you probably could still run it. But for example, it wouldn't work in today's market, so that's why you'd probably do a stage two, or even, well, stage five probably, which we'll get into. Stage three, aware of the mechanisms. The market has been exposed to many explanations and methods for achieving the result and has tried several of them. So this is essentially just taking preference from stage two, but we're expanding on it by a new mechanism, angle, or reframing the problem. So an example is like, it's not your diet, it's your hormones. And it's just kind of like taking that connotation a little differently and kind of explain it in a new way. So like, the market has been exposed to too many explanations and methods for achieving the result and has tried several of them. So just to kind of like change it up a notch, take it to a whole new level, you just go like, hey, it's not your diet, it's your hormones. Just completely change it. And then why this works is like it's a new mechanism, angle, or reframing of the problem. Stage 4, skeptical and burned. Like the market has been overpromised, not delivered to. They don't trust claims, methods, and marketers. So it's essentially just taking the stage 3 and just turning it up a notch, which is an example of like why 97% of weight loss programs fail. And then why this works is like acknowledging failure, calling out false promises, and aligning with skepticism. So, for example, like why 97% of weight loss programs fail is because they don't trust claims, methods, and marketers. So you're just kind of like basically trying to get out of the original zone of like they're now trying to showcase all these different mechanisms and all these different claims and then everything like that. And so by being able to just completely change it, you go negative on the reasons they've done it in the past, which for example, it's like why 97% of weight loss programs fail. Okay. Stage 5. This is where, well, I've been working with products that are in stage 5, and let me tell you, they're both the most hard, they're difficult, and also just I would consider most rewarding and fun to work with. So this is at the point where it's just the maximum sophistication. The market has seen every promise, every mechanism, every angle, and just nothing surprises them anymore. And an example of this is like to change it, the fat loss system used by competitive athletes. The reason this works is because this is the point where they've seen everything, and all these people, they've gone through all these weight loss things and things like that. But to be able to stand out in a stage 5, because there's so much competition and there's so much just red ocean in the space, you have to be able to find your own market. And say, we'll zoom out and say, for example, you got your section where, well, let's just say it's the health industry. It's a massive circle. There's tons of people in there, and say there's like 2 million people. Well, we got like the carb cycling method over here. That's 50,000 people. We got diet, keto, and everything over here. We got like the 1 meal a day diet. We got all these different diets, okay? And then within there, you got your methods, your claims, and everything like that. But this is a little different because stage 5 is when you start associating with yourself with a person's identity and who they are. So example is the fat loss system used by competitive athletes. So this is targeting competitive athletes on understanding what this system works for them specifically. And instead of just targeting broad and saying like the fat loss system that allows you to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, that's still, a stage 3, stage 2. Stage 5 is a lot different. This is where you're targeting a new identity and shifting it out of the like targeting pretty much broad and still trying to create like mechanisms and things like that. Like you just do straight up a certain type of identity within the market. And so I'll give you an example again is I'm working with this product and it's a back corrector. Okay. It's like one of the most dropship products in the world. It's crazy. But the thing is that it's custom made, it's unique, it's actually designed and made by a chiropractor, so it has some type of USP. However, the biggest thing is still just the competition level, and the algorithm just doesn't push it as much as it used to. And so what we did was, because of stage 5, we completely reversed engineered it, and we targeted golfers, because at least for us, like the product is so good at being able to help increase your performance on the golf course, your swing speed, just being able to keep your back healthy. And so if we design it that way and start targeting golfers as the golf trainer, it allows them to become more like loyal to the brand. And we're pushing away, yes, some customers, but at the end of the day, if we're allowed to grow within that market and become the dominant, then that is how you can scale really fast. So in stage 5, it's definitely doable to make it happen. You just got to be a little more creative with who you're targeting and the identity around that. Okay. And that is what works. So essentially just exclusivity, authority, inevitability, and like who the product is for and not for. That's another big appointment. A big component of it is like not just who it is for, but like who it's not for. and that'll help you just to try to like push away the people that, well, frankly, aren't for it. But like examples like used by competitive athletes, you're directly stating, who's the identity for, who's the people that are actually going to purchase this. Now, subscribe and go have a blessed day. I hope I made this very simple, very streamlined. This is like one of my first ever videos that I've done, and I'm already getting sweaty. I'm just like getting used to this talking and then actually creating my own slideshows and like walking you guys through it. So this just makes me better at understanding the topics that are in my head and trying to talk to you guys and trying to teach them. But if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to let me know in the comments. I can walk you guys through it. Like a lot of this stuff I learned from, what is it called? Breakthrough Advertising. And also, I'll shout out Nick Terrio. Nick Terrio has been a great help. I'd highly recommend him because, well, yes, like I'm creating my own videos. Like he's done videos on this 5 stages of sophistication, and he's probably done it better than me. But I'm doing this because, well, I want to create my own value and try to give in some unique way and continue to grow my brand. So take care. Again, if you're looking for someone that's young and honestly like works with startup brands, because, well, let's just say other companies, they work with a lot bigger companies. But for me, I know how to take a company from 0 and get them to 5 and 6 figures. That's what I know how to do. So until I start hitting 6, 7, and 8 figures, then, well, I can work with you guys. So if you're having a startup brand, you're taking it to market, and you need someone to create content, run ads, and actually drive the growth in the beginning, and do the research to identify who we're actually going to target as essentially your growth partner, then reach out to us. Again, we're Backsplash Agency. We're the backsplash to your business. So we come in, we build out the research, we do the content, advertising, everything, and we actually determine like what is going to be the best path and the highest ROI for you, determining your funding, what you have for resource capital, because a lot of startups, usually have funding. If not, they did something through Kickstarter, etc. But other than that, take care. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.